Picture this. It's 80 million years ago. You're standing on a beach somewhere in what will one day become Kansas. Yeah, Kansas. Except there's no cornfields, no tornadoes. Just you, some sand, and behind you, an ocean. But not just any ocean. You look out at the water and it's warm. Tropical. Almost inviting. The sun's reflecting off the surface in that picturesque way that makes you think, you know what? Maybe I'll go for a swim. And then, about 50 feet offshore, something breaks the surface. It's massive. Maybe 50 feet long. Shaped like a giant eel, but with a head the size of a refrigerator and jaws that could swallow a grand piano. It looks at you, you look at it, and in that moment you realize this was a terrible idea. Welcome to the Western Interior Seaway, or, as paleontologists affectionately call it, Hell's Aquarium. See, there's a reason most people are way more comfortable being stranded on land than in the ocean. Because throughout Earth's history, the scariest predators have almost always been in the water. And when it comes to nightmare fuel, no body of water in history holds a candle to this one. This wasn't the deep ocean. It wasn't even that big. But for 34 million years, the Western Interior Seaway was home to marine reptiles the size of buses, sharks with teeth longer than your hand, crocodiles that could bite harder than a T-Rex, and squid so big they made the kraken look like calamari. So, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the single worst place to go swimming in the history of planet Earth. First, let's set the scene. The Western Interior Seaway doesn't exist anymore. But 80 million years ago, it split North America clean in half. Picture a massive inland sea stretching from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to the Arctic Ocean, basically drawing a giant line through the continent and creating two island landmasses, Laramidia to the west and Appalachia to the east. This seaway was huge. At its widest, it measured 600 miles across and stretched over 2,000 miles long. But here's the kicker. It was shallow. Like, stupidly shallow. The deepest parts only went down about 3,000 feet, with an average depth of around 150 feet. For context, that's about as deep as a 15-story building is tall. The open ocean? That goes down 12,000 feet on average. So, the Western Interior Seaway was basically a glorified kiddie pool. Except this kiddie pool was full of monsters. Because when you've got warm, shallow, tropical water, packed with nutrients and fish, you create the perfect environment for predators. Lots of predators. Big predators. Predators that made the dinosaurs on land look like house pets. And it all peaked during the Campanian Age, a roughly 11 million year stretch between 83 and 72 million years ago, when this seaway became the most concentrated feeding frenzy in Earth's history. So, what lived here? Oh, you're about to find out. Let's start with the kings of this hellscape, the mosasaurs. Mosasaurs were marine reptiles that looked like someone took a monitor lizard, stretched it out like taffy, gave it flippers and said, "Go nuts." And boy, did they. These things completely dominated the Western Interior Seaway. They were the apex predators, the orcas of the Cretaceous. Except way, way scarier. Here's the thing, mosasaurs weren't just one species. They were an entire family of nightmare fuel, with over 10 different genera living in the seaway at the same time. And they ranged in size from, "That's pretty big," to, "Oh my god, why?" The smallest, Cladasts, a mere 20 feet long, about the size of a great white shark, but skinnier. Still plenty big enough to ruin your day, though. Cladasts had smooth teeth designed for catching fish and squid, and it hung out in the shallows. Not a huge threat to larger animals, but definitely something you'd want to avoid. Then we've got Platecarpus, a step up in size at around 24 feet and weighing about a ton. roughly the same weight as a massive Nile crocodile. But here's the weird thing. Despite being bigger, Platecarpus was kind of a wimp. Its teeth were fragile, like comically fragile. Paleontologists think it mostly ate soft-bodied squid and small fish in deeper water. So if you were a human, Platecarpus probably wouldn't bother you. But then we get to the real problem, Tylosaurus. Oh boy, Tylosaurus was a giant. Adults ranged from 40 to 52 feet long, about the length of a humpback whale. And unlike Platecarpus, Tylosaurus didn't mess around. It had up to 32 teeth at any given time, all of them thick, recurved, and finely serrated, built for tearing through large prey. And it did. A lot. Tylosaurus' stomach contents have included plesiosaurs, turtles, birds, sharks, and other mosasaurs. This thing ate everything. But here's where it gets truly unhinged. Tylosaurus had a secret weapon. Its snout. See, most mosasaurs have teeth all the way to the front. But Tylosaurus? The front of its snout was pure bone. And not just any bone, a reinforced battering ram backed by shock compression structures. That's right. Tylosaurus literally head-butted its prey to death. Fossil evidence shows this thing was hyper-aggressive, ramming everything in sight, including other Tylosaurus. There's even a case where a Tylosaurus rammed another mosasaur so hard it shattered its skull. But wait, it gets worse. Because Tylosaurus wasn't even the biggest mosasaur in these waters. That honor goes to Mosasaurus, the OG, the final boss, the apex of apex predators. Mosasaurus could reach 56 feet long and weigh over 10 tons. It didn't have a battering ram like Tylosaurus, but it didn't need one. Because Mosasaurus had the most devastating bite in the seaway. Its skull was massive, allowing for a row of giant teeth with 2 cutting edges each, and studies estimate its bite force at 13,000 to 16,000 psi, 4 times stronger than a saltwater crocodile. That's enough to crush a car. Mosasaurus hunted using ambush tactics and powerful binocular vision that worked even in murky water. It ate fish, turtles, sharks, plesiosaurs, and probably anything else dumb enough to swim nearby. So yeah, the western interior seaway had not 1, not 2, but 3 species of bus-sized marine reptiles with dinosaur teeth and bad attitudes. And we're just getting started. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but at least if I stick to the coastline, I'll be safe, right? Wrong. Because lurking in the bays, estuaries, and shallows was Deinosuchus, one of the largest crocodilians to ever exist. And yes, I said crocodilian. Not a marine reptile, an actual honest-to-God crocodile. Except this one was 39 feet long and weighed up to 8.5 tons. For reference, that's about twice the length of the largest saltwater crocodiles alive today, and way, way heavier. Deinosuchus had a skull the size of a smart car, covered in hemispherical osteoderms, basically built-in armor plating. These plates were so big that when they were first discovered, paleontologists thought they belonged to an armored dinosaur. But the real nightmare? The bite. Deinosuchus had a bite force potentially exceeding 100,000 newtons. That's more powerful than a T-Rex, 5 times the force needed to crush a car. And its teeth were designed to crush, not slice. Blunt in the back, sharp in the front. Fossil evidence shows Deinosuchus loved munching on marine turtles, large fish, and any dinosaur stupid enough to wade into the water. Because yes, even the dinosaurs weren't safe. So let's recap. The coasts had giant crocodiles. The shallows had medium-sized mosasaurs. The open water had giant mosasaurs. Where exactly were you supposed to swim? Nowhere. The answer is nowhere. But wait, we're not done. Because the western interior seaway also had cephalopods, and not cute little squid. Oh no, meet Tusiteuthis and Enchoteuthis, prehistoric squid that could grow up to 10 feet long and resembled a cross between a modern squid and an octopus. They had 10 tentacles lined with suckers, razor-sharp beaks, and probably the ability to squirt ink. These guys were active predators that ate fish, invertebrates, and even baby mosasaurs. Yeah, baby mosasaurs. Because apparently, even the apex predators had to deal with squid. But the real star of the cephalopod show? Parapuzosia. Parapuzosia was an ammonite, a shelled cephalopod that's now completely extinct, and it was the largest ammonite of all time. How big? Try 11 feet in diameter. With flesh, these things weighed over 1.5 tons, making them the heaviest invertebrate to ever live. If you could somehow uncoil one, it would stretch to 60 feet long, twice the length of a whale shark. Nobody's entirely sure what Parapuzosia ate. Maybe fish, maybe other cephalopods, maybe marine reptiles, or maybe it was just a giant floating shell that scared the crap out of everything by existing. Either way, finding one of these in the water would have been deeply unsettling. Okay, so we've got mosasaurs, crocodiles, and giant squid. Surely the sharks were at least normal, right? Nope. The western interior seaway was home to some of the weirdest, meanest sharks of the Cretaceous. And while they weren't the apex predators, they were still everywhere. First up, Tychodus, a whale shark-sized beast with over 500 teeth. Sounds terrifying, right? Except those teeth weren't sharp, they were flat. Like dinner plates, because Tychodus was a shell crusher. It ate crustaceans and turtles. So basically, it was the ocean's garbage disposal. Weird, but harmless. But then we've got Cretoxorhina, better known as the Ginsu shark. This thing was terrifying. It looked like a great white, hunted like a great white, and could grow up to 26 feet long and weigh 5 tons. But here's the kicker. It wasn't even related to great whites. It was a case of convergent evolution. Nature creating the same apex predator design twice. Cretoxorhina had teeth bigger than great whites, thicker enamel, and a tail fin designed for extreme speed. Studies estimate it could hit 43 miles per hour, fast enough to ram into prey with devastating force. And its diet? Other predators, sharks, mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, fish, even dinosaurs, though those were probably scavenged. Fossil evidence shows Cretoxorhina bite marks are deep. Like catastrophically deep. This shark didn't nibble, it obliterated. And finally, we've got Squalocorax, the crow shark. Smaller than Cretoxorhina, but just as dangerous. This 16-foot shark had serrated, curved teeth perfect for sawing through flesh, and it loved hanging out in coastal areas, scavenging and hunting. Oh, and it also hunted pterosaurs. Yeah, flying reptiles. Squalocorax would track them from below and snatch them out of the air when they dove for fish, because apparently even the sky wasn't safe. And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, let me introduce you to Zephactinus, the X-fish. This thing was a bony fish, but don't let that fool you. Zephactinus was 16 to 20 feet long, with a broad, bulldog-like face and a jaw that could unhinge like a snake's. It could swallow prey whole, and we know this because of the famous fish within a fish fossil, a 6-foot-long fish found perfectly preserved inside a Zephactinus stomach. This thing was basically an underwater garbage truck with teeth, and it was everywhere. Oh, and there were also plesiosaurs, long-necked marine reptiles that looked like the Loch Ness Monster's ancestors. The largest, like Elasmosaurus, could reach 38 feet long, with necks that made up more than half their body length. They used their necks to sneak up on small fish, tricking them by hiding their massive bodies out of sight. Not apex predators, but still creepy as hell. So let's review. The Western Interior Seaway had 3 species of giant mosasaurs: a crocodile with a bite stronger than T-Rex squid, the size of cars, sharks that ate other apex predators, fish that could swallow you whole, and long-necked sea monsters all crammed into a shallow, 600-mile-wide stretch of water in the middle of North America. For 34 million years, this was the single most dangerous body of water on Earth. And then, 66 million years ago, an asteroid slammed into the planet, sent a tsunami through the seaway, and wiped it all out. Good riddance. But here's the thing. The ocean today still has plenty of nightmare fuel: great whites, orcas, giant squid, box jellyfish. So maybe, just maybe, the Western Interior Seaway isn't gone. Maybe it just moved. Thanks for watching. And hey, maybe stay on land.